Bet you never thought you'd be checking out wastewater treatment plants, did you? Well, welcome to my world. I'm water. Your water. You know, the stuff that comes around time after time in one big cycle, starting at good old Lake Erie, up to residences, businesses, and industries, back down through their wastewater lines, into local community systems, which flow into larger regional systems, that send me to one of 3 wastewater treatment plants. And that's where I'm cleaned and treated, and then released to go back out to the lake. This cycle of mine's a big part of the area's environmental balance. So you can see why a place like this is a very important stop. Our area's 3 wastewater treatment plants are all operated by the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, or NEORSD. They include the Southerly Plant in Cuyahoga Heights, the Easterly Plant in Cleveland, and the Westerly Plant near Edgewater Park. They were all built between 1922 and 1938, and they've been running non-stop ever since. A good thing, since they treat a combined average of 310 million gallons of wastewater every day. Think I'm exaggerating? Well, it's estimated that every person in the nation contributes between 70 and 150 gallons every day to a community's wastewater flow. So, when you think about how many people and businesses are in our area, that's a pretty realistic figure. And when it rains, well, I won't even get into that. Let's just say that depending on the wastewater treatment plant, its location, its equipment, and even the weather, you might see different things happening, but basically speaking, it all boils down to this. The same processes that nature uses to clean streams, rivers, and lakes are all used here. Just speed it up and controlled to be as effective as possible. And those natural processes include physical, biological, and chemical. Sounds simple, huh? But although it's second nature to nature, doing it right in this environment calls for a variety of sciences to work together. Not just biology and chemistry, but also engineering, hydraulics, and electronics are all part of the mix. And every stage of the process calls for careful monitoring, testing, and control to make sure that what goes in comes out in a form that doesn't upset our environmental balance. Wastewater treatment involves 4 main processes: preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, and treatment of the solids that are removed along the way. In preliminary treatment, the first step, the wastewater passes through steel bar screens as it enters the treatment plant. The screens trap and remove large floating objects like rags, woods, plastic, and all the other big stuff that gets into the wastewater stream. Still carrying solids like sand, grit, and gravel, the water then hits the grit chambers. These tanks, which each hold over 1 million gallons of water, slow the water enough to let more solids drop to the bottom. Now the wastewater moves into primary treatment. Here, sedimentation, or settling tanks, hold the wastewater for up to several hours. That gives time for solids that are suspended in the water to settle to the bottom. At the same time the solids are settling, there's lighter stuff like grease and oil rising to the top. That's where surface skimmers take over to remove those materials. By this time, lots of solids have been removed, but others are still there, some suspended, others dissolved in the water. That's where secondary treatment starts, and it involves the science of biology and a bunch of very tiny but hungry guys called microorganisms. In natural waterways, microorganisms like protozoa, fungi, algae, and bacteria all love dining on dissolved solids. As they eat, they accomplish something called biological conversion that transforms the dissolved solids into suspended solids. And once solids are suspended, they can be removed. Secondary treatment uses these same microscopic mega munchers and increases how well and how quickly they do their conversion thing. Some plants begin secondary treatment with trickling filters. This calls for wastewater meals to be sprayed over beds